Hello everyone. If you want to improve your relationship, learn relationship hack or listen to entertaining and educating relationship stories, please subscribe, like, and share. Share your own story in the comments section below. Thank you. Comment what do you think about this situation. I found them in our bed. This is a throwaway for the obvious reason. I've been reading in here for several days trying to wrap my head around the craziness that is my life. Last week, I was completely and utterly happy. Head over heels in love with my fiancé. We've been together for years. We found out in May she was pregnant. Life didn't feel like it could get any better. I'm an essential worker and still unfortunately have to travel from time to time for my job. I have been trying to cut down on plane travel and will drive if able. Last week I was scheduled to be gone all week, but ended up being able to leave several days ahead of time, but wanted to surprise my fiancé. It was an 8-hour drive, but ended up being close to 14 because of traffic and poor timing on my part. I get home around 10:30 p.m. and find her and a co-worker in our bed together having sex. She's an assistant producer at a local news station and he's one of the anchors. She immediately tries to defuse the situation and says it's not what I think it is and not to jump to conclusions. He jumps up and puts his clothes on and leaves. I was so angry I was seeing stars. She tries to talk to me about it, but I don't want to hear it. I leave and call a buddy and have been staying with him for the past 6 days. I spoke to her on the phone yesterday and she told me it was a one-time thing and she feels like the passion has been missing in our relationship. Which I don't agree with at all. I think she was trying to justify the cheating and gaslight me. I'm so angry and she won't stop harassing me. I don't know what to do. We're going to be parents and I don't want anything to do with her. But I'm stuck with her for the next 18 years minimum. She hasn't even apologized. She just keeps trying to justify her actions. Sorry if this is all over the place. My brain is all over the place. Just needed to get it out and some advice would be great. No doubt in my mind it's been going on longer than one day. They work a lot together and pre-pandemic they had a lot of late nights together. I do believe the baby is mine because I didn't really travel anywhere during that time and she didn't leave the house either. They were only having a couple people in the studio and rotating. But we'll see. Request one for my own solace. I understand. I'd recommend getting DNA after the baby is born anyway. I've heard of too many situations where there was certainty and it turned out to be wrong. When people cheat, you'd be surprised how deceptive they are and still managing to go undetected during COVID. At least that way you aren't left with lingering doubts. As a child of parents who divorced due to infidelity, I can also suggest not to stay in a marriage because of children. The mistrust and resentment only builds over time. And children are greatly affected by it. Do what is right for you. A happy and mentally healthy single parent is better than one stuck in a marriage without trust. I hope things get better for you, mate. Keep us updated. I'm sorry this has happened. How awful. How fucking awful. I must agree with everyone else. You need to get a DNA test. They can do it in utero. You don't know for sure precisely when she got pregnant. 2 weeks either way makes a difference. As you are aware, the odds of you catching them the first time they did it is very, very low. I think there is no downside to outing the guy as a low-life piece of garbage. If the baby isn't yours, which I hope isn't the case, I'd burn both their careers to the ground. That's a good point. If he is the dad and she lied to me, that's the lowest of low. I don't believe for 1 second this was their first and only time. They used to work late a lot pre-pandemic. So I'm sure it's been going on for a while. The only reason I wouldn't burn their careers to the ground is because there is a child involved. He or she didn't get to pick their parents if it's not mine and shouldn't have to suffer the consequences. But by making a fuss, you might spare someone else down the line. If Mr. Amazing starts putting the moves on someone else's wife one day. If she remembers how there was a scandal involving Mr. Sincere Soulmate some years back. She might not fall into his trap. Plus, if he's a narcissist, they go absolutely insane whenever there's any pushback at all in life. So you can get your pound of flesh without even trying hard. The baby might be yours. But the probability is really low. That's because she has an affair. The affair happens to be closed into an initial stage of romance. The period when people makes the more sex. I'm talking like long sex 3 times a day. Probably she had lots of quickies with him and being an anchor he had lots of time because it's not a 9-to-5 job. Technically he just have to present the show and has a lot of free time after it. If the show has a team, he might be delegating your fiancé's work to other people so she can have more time to make sex to him. Don't think on terms of she didn't have time. She did. People can make time and have excuses. Sorry to tell you, but these are the facts. Sorry to hear that your fiancé betrayed you like that. I suspect she is still trickle-truthing about the one-time thing. I hope you get a DNA test so that you know for sure this is your child. As for the wedding plans, suggest you postpone until you know for sure what you want to do. It is all about trust, and she has destroyed trust and still not taking responsibility. Sadly, she is following the cheater's handbook line by line. Staying with her because she may be having your child is not a good reason. She has much to prove if she thinks she is worthy of your love and commitment. Oh fuck dude, I am so sorry. OMG, and there is baby on the way. I am so sorry dude. Jesus. A few months ago I was like you. Too honest and trusting to even fathom this nonsense. Couldn't even imagine it. Turns out mine cheated on me our entire relationship, almost 16 years. They minimize because they know it is wrong. They know they fucked up, so they minimize so they don't have to face the music. That's all that cheaters are. BTW. Cowards who want to have a motel to come home to plus all the fun and excitement they can handle during the day. They are just a big bunch of chicken shits. I know, because I had to have strength and courage to huck him out and start dating honestly again. It takes courage to live honestly. Never forget that and you will be okay. I promise. Hugs though. She is a selfish and horrible person. I'm sure this goes without saying. Get a DNA test. If you want to take her back, that's on you. Me personally, I would not. She has no respect for you at this point. Fucking another guy in your bed. Lying right to your face. No apology. Not sure how far you are willing to take it. But I would look to get them fired. Let them pay for what they did. I'm sorry. Is the guy married or in a relationship? If so, contact the OW and tell her everything. She needs to know. What I would do is to tell her that if she has any hope of salvaging the relationship, even though you may not want to, but don't tell her that yet, then either she has to quit her job, or he has to quit. And immediately. You can probably push him into an immediate resignation, just by telling them both that you will take the whole story to all of the competitor local stations. And he'll play hell getting another job in broadcasting. And this way, she can keep her job. Then, tell her that they cannot see each other ever again. And she must go no contact. And block him on every social media app. And delete his info everywhere. Just a piece of advice though. Please take plenty of time to calm down. And do some real in-depth thinking. And searching your feelings. Before you make any final decisions as to whether you stay or go. Depending on what happens later, you might regret making too hasty of a decision. If it were me, I'd push for an immediate DNA test. There is a test that can be done using the mother's blood before making the final decision. Good luck up. And be strong. Edit. Wording. That low? Hasn't she already shown you how low she's willing to sink? She's low enough to supposedly be pregnant with your kid, and she's banging some guy in your bed. WHLE, you're away. How the hell much lower does it get? This pig has already sunk as low as a human can sink. Hell. She's dug a crawlspace under her lowest point in life, because we all know she's probably had this guy and God knows who else many times in your bed when you've been away on business. And the odds are, he's likely not the only one. I don't get it. How the hell much lower do you think she has the capacity to go? She's already at the bottom.